Okay, group. Ugh. It's Vince with Green Joe, and this video is the first part of our series as understanding code and regulation. So what I'm going to do in this one is talk about how to find your code first. Sometimes it's not easy to find, and so on this video, what we'll do is we'll just walk through a couple of different codes and just show you how I come to find regulations. There's not a one size fits all on how to find regulations. Sometimes I have to call up the health inspector, which is usually part of the Department of Health, or environmental health is the other name they'll go by. And I call up the health inspector and just see if they can send me the regulations. Sometimes they're not easy to find. But for this video, I went through and did a search on all of them already ahead of time, so you guys can kind of see exactly what the process looks like. So let's just go ahead and get started with sharing the screen. Alrighty. All right. Okay, here you go. All right, so 2,000 tabs later, I started off with just LA, and typically what I like to do when I start off with a search is I just throw whatever city or county I'm searching for, the keywords food truck and the keyword permit, and I'll put all those into the Google search bar, and I usually look at like the top 3 links that comes up, just take a peek at them. So this one is LA, so it's Los Angeles food truck permit. It brought this one up, this mobile food truck facility permit handout. I like that it's a PDF right away. That always makes me feel good. And then there's another one down here, mobile vending investigation and compliance. Now, I know a little bit about LA already because I've helped 2 trucks in LA. So, but yeah, let's just get started. So as I was kind of digging through, I popped this open, and this is kind of like their general guidelines, which is cool. It's just like a short and sweet version of what it's going to take. Sometimes people aren't really serious, or they see all the complications that arise from code and regulation, and they get discouraged from that. So sometimes it's good that they kind of have a little PDF there. And so with this PDF, you just kind of go along. I could see that they have a couple different forms here. As I was scrolling through, I noticed they didn't put the L and HTML down here on this one. So that link is broken. So when it popped up some of these links, some brought me to this site right here, the mobile food vending investigation. That was the second link coming out of Google. These are the compliance division. They basically just make sure that people follow the rules. So that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the rules, the regulations. This is that missing page, the one that didn't have the L in it. So I put the HTML, still didn't bring up the page. So just kind of searching through food truck permit into their search bar, and this is all what it brought up. So didn't seem to be anything that I was looking for. So just kept kind of scrolling through, going back to this page. So this page right here is that very first page that we took a look at. And they have some basic definitions, which is good. Food trucks are often broken up into different levels of risk, high risk, low risk, and they'll do that based upon the food, like prepackaged food or cooked to serve food, or seafood is another high risk food. So they'll permit the different trucks based upon the risk to the public, essentially. So that's what they have here, is they have these kind of like definitions about the different levels of risk: limited food preparation, or mobile food preparation unit, or mobile food facility. They're all just different levels of food trucks based upon the inherent risk associated with it. So it's just kind of scrolling down, clicking onto these links, and these were all pretty good links. But what really got me into the good stuff, so when I clicked on mobile food marking guide, oh, that's not it. Let's just open her up, and here you go. All right. I got this one right here, which I thought was pretty good. wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but it told me how I can get closed down. So minor violations and major violations. So although those aren't necessarily the rules and regulations, what they are is they're the consequences to disobedience of the rules and regulations, which is also really good to know. So I did want to point that one out. If you have something like that, I've seen a couple different cities do that. These kind of, pink sheets, so to speak. You definitely want to go through those and find out how you can violate your rules, because that'll will ultimately lead to shutdown. But still not the stuff I'm looking for. So this is the inspection, the vehicle inspection, not what I'm looking for. This is the permit. Again, not what I'm looking for. This was just another copy of the marking guide. So ultimately, I really had a hard time finding the uh, the vehicle, or excuse me, the regulations for LA, and I actually had to end up calling the health inspector, and then they walked me through it. They got me to this page, which is the plan check page. And once I got to the plan check page, all the good stuff is down here in the bottom. And so I just cracked open the mobile food facility, and this is exactly what we need right here. So as you dig in here, you're going to see that this is full of, like, do you have to have a commissary? What are the minimum requirements? How do you, have equipment and toilet facilities? This is the good stuff, right? Plan submission, general operating guidelines, and this type of stuff. I hear a lot of people say that LA County is one of the hardest counties for build out. And I built my last coffee truck, not 100% to their standards, but pretty close. The biggest thing that um, my truck wouldn't get past is because of my window. I have a really big 48-inch window that opens up, and they want smaller windows. But otherwise than that, to be honest with you, I kind of like their code. It tells you exactly what you need to know. So they just map it out for you, and they'll tell you exactly what you need, but they still tell you what you need. And at some point, it's kind of nice to have that, to have someone tell you exactly what you need. So, as far as building out a coffee truck to code, these are one of the standards that I enjoy using, because it is so detailed, and it just takes out all the question of what should be. So I happen to enjoy that attention to detail. I don't believe they're the hardest code in the the country. I've read a lot of codes, and there are some very unreasonable codes out there. LA is pretty reasonable. They're just detailed. So anyhow, that's LA. That's their code. So kind of moving forward here. So moving to the next big one, New York. So New York, you want to talk about tough code. New York's tough code. And the reason why New York's so tough is because they limit the amount of permits issued. So people end up, even though they're not allowed to, they resell their permits. And so the permits can be real expensive. I heard of some hot dog cart having to pay $14,000 in permit fees. It's like, that's incredible. It's a huge amount of rent. So that seems to be pretty unfortunate. But all right, so New York food truck permit, again, just threw it into the Google there, and these are the first couple ones that pop up. That NewYorkStreetFood.com looks like maybe a private website. So I'm going to stick to the .govs for right now. We'll just crack those guys open, and this is the first one that pops up. Mobile food vending license, tells you about how to apply. And then they got a couple things down here: rules of New York City and New York City Administrative Code. So we'll go through some of these. All right, so this one comes up. This is the NewYorkCity.gov /site/DOH, Department of Health /business/food operators /mobile temporary food beverage vendors .page. So this is actually a really good page, because this is where you're going to see all the meat and potatoes of opening up a food truck. Looks like they got some letter grading that they do for their food trucks, so that's good to know. And they got a bunch of extra stuff down here. Food units, rules of New York City food units. That was a big one that I really liked. Inspection scoring parameters. I like that one too. So I just started clicking on some of these guys. This one right here is the rules of New York City, and this is it. This is your city code right here. So yeah, I had to go down to the mobile food section. I think it's like page mobile food vending units, page 5. But that's, you know, they talk about cooking surfaces, they talk about lighting, ventilation, tank capacity, so no less than 40 gallons. So yep, so this is all the good stuff right here for New York stuff. All right, so I'm glad we found that. Kind of take a look at the other stuff. Yeah. So vending licenses, how to apply. This is their little overview, similar to like the little PDF that LA had. It's pretty good. Yeah, portable water, wastewater, overhead structure, ventilation. Okay, cool. Oh, and this is the this is the violations thing. Real similar to LA, how they called it their marking guide. These guys call it scored violations. So good to look over. I mean, I've looked over mine multiple times, so you should know the big ones. You know, like how you're gonna get scored, so to speak. So yeah, so there's New York. Oh, and I did want to point out, New York also has a New York State code. So for mobile food establishments, and that is subpart 14-4. So, you know, for you guys in New York that maybe you're planning on going outside of the boroughs and maybe hitting things like Long Island or anything upstate, this might be a good one to look at as well while you're building your truck out, just so that it's kind of built to a higher regulation. So thought I'd point that out. All right, Chicago. Oh, the infamous Chicago. You guys want to see a tough code? Go look at Chicago's code. You guys in LA think you got it bad? Go look at Chicago's code. Chicago's code is tough, man. It's a tough code you guys got. All right, Chicago. So mobile food truck permit Chicago. So, you know, you can see .gov, .gov, .gov. You see a bunch of .govs and then sometimes. So I'm going to stick to the .govs. Let's crack these open. This is our first .gov. So the city of Chicago, business affairs and consumer protection. Okay. And here you're going to see there's this mobile food dispenser and mobile food preparer. And again, that's just different levels of licensure based upon the inherent risk of food. So we'll kind of scroll down there. As you're going down, you can see that they share certain commonalities. It looks like they put them in 2 different columns, and then they have this kind of general commonality that they share. Or if there's a distinguishment, they put them in 2 different boxes. That's kind of nice. So scrolling down, so this looks good. All this stuff looks good. But I wouldn't mind finding a little bit more about things like water tanks. I happen to know Chicago's code because I helped someone with their Chicago code. So, you know, inline generators, Chicago doesn't allow any portable generators. So, you know, so as I keep digging around, boom, pop this one right open. This is Chicago.gov contents /dam/city/BACP/general/MFV underscore rules and regulations. All right. So this is exactly what you need right here. So rules and regulations, mobile food vendors, 13-page document. Kind of scroll down. It's going to start getting into permitting, business requirements, detailed plans, truck and equipment requirements. So all this looks good. This is all exactly what you need to start building out your food truck. So boom, there's Chicago's. Now I know Chicago is a little bit more tricky, and that's because their fire inspections are pretty thick in Chicago. So you're going to have to double down on the fire inspections, and they tend to be. I think Chicago is a little bit more sensitive when it comes to fire restrictions than other places. So, all right, Chicago, Dallas. All right, so we threw Dallas in here, Dallas food truck, boom, again. First one is mobile food vendors, city of Dallas. Let's just crack that open. And this is what you get right out the gate. They're going to give you the regulations. Nice website, Dallas. So crack that one open. This one right here, this mobile food prep vehicle guideline. Just kind of see what that looks like. That's this guy right here. It's a 5-page document. Commissary requirements. Anytime I see like commissary requirements, then I'm usually in the right place. Yep, boom. There's your regulation, Dallas. Thing about Dallas, they don't allow trailers. They only do trucks. Didn't know that. Good to know, huh? Yeah, so they do trucks. They're not into the trailers. At least that's what the protocol says. You know, if anybody's in Dallas and you have a trailer, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, Seattle. All right, so Seattle's another one that they say they got a tough code. So Seattle food truck permit, again, .gov. Look at all these .govs. You know, when you see .govs like that, you know you're in a good spot. So just crack all these open. Looks like they got a checklist, a bunch of different steps to do. Looks good. Look at that. What is that? Someone get married. Someone got married and had a little chicken sandwich. That's cute. That's cute. Good for you guys. Okay. All right. So this is the mobile food vending checklist that was on their first page. This is it. I mean, from here you can probably just click on these links. Oh yeah, obtain a food unit permit. Look at these. All these links right here. This is the good stuff. So let's just click these open. Mobile. Oh, that's right. So you guys got to get. So this is a good example. What they require. Go back to this. So they're requiring to get permitted by the county. So that was something to be interested in. So when I was kind of scrolling down, take a look at these guys operating outside of King County. You got to get your own. If you operate outside of their county, then you have to get a different permit. So it looks like what these guys are doing is they're doing county permitting. So Seattle mobile food. Yeah. Let's just double check that real quick. Yeah, it says applicants are required to submit the following documents as reference in the mobile food service plan guide to King County. So looks like they want you to go to King County. Okay, King County it is. All right, so here we are, kingcounty.gov /health/environmental health. Okay, so, and then just going through the plans, these are different plans. So they have like cover sheets and review applications, draft guidelines for mobile food unit operators and regulatory authorities. So that fact that it says draft guideline, I'll always double check the date on that, because the last thing I need to be doing is building a coffee truck based upon a draft that never got approved. But you know, that's a good one right there. So click that one open, and it pops this guy up right here. So let me just, yep. So history of edits during the comment period. Yeah, so they got an effective date. Okay, cool. So it looks like it was signed. So let's just keep going. Boom, there you go. Hand washing, hot holding, freshwater capacity. That's all your good stuff. So there's Washington stuff right there. So that's the one I'll start drafting up on it. No, by all means, call up your inspector and just confirm that you have the right documents, that there's no changes that you need to know of. But this is solid. This is good stuff. All right, mobile food unit plan and review. Okay, this is just the over guideline of the whole process. You know, because the health inspection is only one aspect of it. You know, you have fire inspections, you got to do the business aspect of things. Sometimes you have to do zoning. So there's kind of a lot. Houston, we got a problem. HoustonTexas.gov. We'll crack that one open. HoustonTexas.gov. There's a few. Look at these. Here's another one. Someone's PDF. I'm gonna open that. Check out that PDF. Oh yeah, look at this. Yep, this is good stuff right here. So this is exactly what you need to read through. If you're in Houston, you want a food truck, this is the way to go. Cool. Let's see what else Houston has. Okay, so here's their health department. There's operating a mobile food unit in the city of Houston. So let's check that out. Yep, so this is good stuff right here. This is exactly, so they have like, you know, the plumbing regulations, the floor wall regulations, the lighting regulations, countertops, That's the code and regulations that you need to build out to. So that's good stuff. Cool. And then what is this? Conventional restricted. Oh, that's right. Houston had a couple different licensure levels. So make sure you dig into which one you're going to fit the best. This is more from that web page. Yeah, this is just pretty much straightforward stuff. 26 pages of it though. So that came all out of, sorry, that was Seattle. Where's Houston? That came out of all this stuff right here. So all this stuff, I start clicking this open, boom, you start getting all these regulations. So that looks good. You just got to find out what regulation works for you. Okay, Atlanta, City of Atlanta, atlantagA.gov, atlantagA.gov. Look, I got a couple PDFs. Let's crack those open. Okay, right away vending program. Okay. What is this? This is Fulton County. So it looks like Atlanta does some county operations. All right, so this is the permit itself. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for regulations. This is frequently asked questions. I guess that's where you can set up. Food service rules and regulations. It's the Georgia Department of Health. So click on that food service rules and regulations from Georgia. Let's see what they give us. Yep, this is good stuff right here. So this is their food guidelines. And then from there, you just have to look up the mobile food service. So this is Georgia's Food Service, Environmental Health, revised 9/16/2020, page 126. There's all the guidelines right there. So you got to go through those and start breaking those down. That's what we do in the rest of the class. We just kind of break these down into categories. There's Atlanta. Oh yeah, there's more. Frequently asked questions, vending permits, private property. Okay, that's whether or not you can set up on private property. All right, cool. Phoenix, I've done a lot in Phoenix, so I happen to know this county fairly well, actually. So, okay, maricopa.gov. So that first one just says mobile food establishments. It's pretty straightforward. Let's move to that. Cool. So this is that first page. They have a couple different things that you can click on, and then you got some stuff down here. See down here, you got this mobile food type 1 guideline, type 2, type 3. Those are the different levels. Mobile food 1, mobile food 2, mobile food 3. Nice. Okay, so that's it. That's how you find your permits. You know, like again, it's not always that easy. Sometimes you're going to have to call up your health inspector and find out exactly what it is. But that's how I look for health food permits. So I hope it helps.